What's happening, Vault Hunters and fantasy fans? We are back in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, back in the Dreamvale Overlook, heading to end off our Tier 2 playthrough of the DLC content. So this is the Tier 2 version of the Shattering Spectreglass, and this is called Avenging Rampage. And we need to destroy all elemental barrels in each room to get our extra rewards as we go through this. And may or may not do that. This is definitely more time consuming than find 2 chests. I feel like that's a bit unbalanced for what you get, but sometimes these can be a little bit elusive. But let's go! Today we are doing a look at SMGs, just playing around with different SMGs as I'm still re-familiarizing myself with the guns and gear in the game and trying to get a bit more caught up to date where the kind of preferential bits of kit are, what's doing what, and trying to get ourselves a bit more prepared as we get ready to face the Chaos Chamber once again. And ultimately, once we get that clear with the Chaos Chamber and we've had a look at the extra bosses, the secret bosses in there, then we're going to be starting to look at Chaos levels in the game as well. So we've got a fair bit still to get through. We've got Tier 3 on the DLC and Tier 4 to do as well. So this is just a purple SMG called the Deodand. We have looked at this before. This one on the reload, I throw it out, I get little I forgot what they're called. Little sandworms that are going to join in, help chuck some fire on my foes. Right, I'm already not paying attention. Got to look out for First point of order is to pick up my tokens, my souls, so that we're going to get a nice lot of loot at the end of this. And then we need to look out for our explosive barrels, elemental barrels, and get those cleared up as well. The little extra voice lines we're hearing here, I believe, are my shield, which is called the Wit. That would make sense. It keeps making little kind of Monkey Islandish comments. It's a shield that I seem to be having a bit of success with because I get 100% bonus on my damage next to enemies. So particularly if I'm downed and I'm like right next to someone, that's really quite helpful. So at the moment that's a shield that I've been enjoying quite a bit. We missed any elemental barrels there, but we're gonna push forward. Go no farther. I'll go where I bloomin' well want. So I think that area over there is actually meant to be showing one of the mine areas from Mount Cruel. I think that is very much one of the areas you travel through when you're playing that area. A bunch of these down, and then we'll do a little switch onto another SMG. Just doing some experimenting. So this one is the White Death? White Elephant. White Death. Elephant doesn't sound right. White Rider. Yeah, that wasn't quite right. And this has a dual beam or a single beam mode. Let's give this an experiment, because I actually been feeling like the single beam was actually doing faster damage than I've been using this before, but these guys seem to be getting wiped pretty quick regardless. Well, let's try it. I think that just exploded, so let's find another human to fire at. Yeah, I think the single beam is stronger. That's like not even really having to drain, they're just popping out of existence, and actually is working very well. That's very, very good comparative to a fair number of other guns I've been trying recently. Might be situational, but still looking pretty good. Lots of mushrooms. Pop, pop. Yeah, I will be going around in circles a fair bit during this, so apologies for that, because I do keep spinning around looking for chests like this, where I'm going to get my extra souls. And then you've got the elemental barrels. I've got to track down. And yeah, trying to pick up my souls on the floor as well. Another one up there. If you see me at any point, just running past running past the barrels, up completely oblivious, please put it in the timestamp and remind me how stupid I am. That I just would have just been staring at it over and over and just ignoring it. Because that's definitely the sort of thing I do. Easy for me to get distracted. So many shinies and things to open and whatever else going on. Go on, Vern. Hit it up. Nice. Good work, guys. Well, I think I'm definitely satisfied that this works pretty good. So that's definitely one I'm going to try and do a bit more testing with and keeping track of. There's 2 more elemental barrels left. Smoosh. Ooh, my goodness. That is something that does not happen very often out of a crate. That is... I'm not sure what the chances of that are. I'm not sure if I've ever had one out of smashing a crate before. However, one of the luckiest drops I ever had in Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep was as you're heading up to the last boss area, when you're going up to face the sorcerer, or whatever Handsome Jack is called in that, I can't remember. Handsome Sorcerer, probably. There's just some pots, some pottery. You'll see the same sort of thing, as I'm sure as we go through here. I'll try and point one out. But I got a pearlescent, I think, from just smashing just a random pot. And that crate we just did, I think that's definitely high up in my luckiest drops ever. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the best thing I was looking for, but running a Buffmeister on there at the moment. Yeah, Threads of Judgment. I've got quite a lot of the Threads ones, so I think that I've probably got better ones banked away. But the Buffmeister is a spell I've been having a bit of fun with. Does pretty much what it says on the box. It buffs you, so you use it on yourself, and it just gives you a little bit more output for a couple of seconds. At least that is my understanding of it, and it seems to work. Whether it's what I would definitely want to use all the time, I'm uncertain, but we're gonna keep testing that at the moment, so I can get a better feel for it. I'm just gonna take that just so we've got, feel like we're getting somewhere. Let's do. I think I'm pretty happy with that White Rider, so I'm not going to touch that again this session. Okay, I don't actually have as many Spriggan. So that's a chaotic one. So that's actually a little bit higher than the other stuff we're doing. The chaotic stuff comes in with the chaos levels in the game, which I'm not really looking to talk too much about at the moment.
Skeletons, I mean, not yours.
This map is my nemesis. I always get distracted and do this one way too slow. So we're going to try and stay on the ball a bit. Right, so this is the oil and spice, which we got in one of our previous run-throughs of the DLC. So this one has 2 different fire modes. You've got spice, which is the fire, and then you've got oil. You slap the oil around and then set it on fire is kind of the idea. So we'll give that a little bit of a go. That's probably quite appropriate in this area as well, as the the whole point around here is to be finding these old standards of Vespers, and then we're taking out enemies. Quite a lot of elemental barrels about. I'm going to have to keep on the ball with that. But yeah, it's probably quite appropriate. You're finding these standards, and then... I've not even barely touched my ult or anything in this session. So, pretty fun with the fireworks of spice. Just spray that out. That seems to be doing a very reasonable job on its own without anything else. But we'll switch it into the oil mode, see if that can help us out on this badass. Probably quite a nice little one to sort of chuck in the mix, particularly if you're using something else fire-wise. If you can just light that with any fire weapon, then, you know, to chuck the oil out and then switch to a more powerful fire weapon may be a pretty good tactic. I've not tried that yet myself. Okay, where's the next flag? Far side. About... Well, that was weird. I've got to change where my buttons are because it is very awkward. I do not like this D-pad switching weapons thing, switching weapon fire mode thing. It throws me all of the time because it's just not in a helpful place. And to get the most out of a lot of these guns, you want to be switching the fire mode. It's doing very good without even having a need for the oil part of it, but this isn't a particularly challenging activity we're finding out. In Tier 2 still seems basically trivial. I'm really looking forward to finding out what Tiers 3 and 4 are, and I'm assuming 4 is going to be what we're looking for. Maybe that's going to be a bit more of a challenge. Another one of those down. A couple more souls to pick up there, and presumably down in the river and on this little bit here. So we need 25 souls in order to get a little spin on the Wheel of Fate, which is our way of getting rewards from this DLC activity. 25 souls, and you get a spin, and then it's going to just spit out a bunch of random stuff based on what the wheel stops on. Bit of Wheel of Fortune, a little bit of fun, a little bit different. I mean, the gun definitely, it feels very, very gimmicky, but I mean, it's definitely doing some work. It's not exploding the same as the White Rider was, but still very usable. Even without the oil, I feel like that's not... Definitely doesn't feel necessary, but that could be very situational, as I say, like boss damage or something like that. To be able to drop that on may be a good tactic, but this one here is... actually a blue with the red text, so this is a quest reward. I can't remember the name of the quest, but I will try and remember and put it either on the video or in the description. But this one is a Doom reference with, oh, excuse me, rip and tear in the description. So it's a, for whatever reason, going to be a bit of a Doom reference gun. I have not used this one since I've been back on the game, so... see what this is doing at the moment, but I remember it being fun, which is why I held on to it. Just nice and classic. There's a lot of bullets coming out there. Sort of makes me think of Velasco a little bit. I'm not sure if there's some sort of specific pattern that's being used there, but right, let's try not to get too distracted and let's carry on with the the task at hand. The spread is so wide that on some of these enemies I'm actually missing a fair amount. So I guess there's, you know, the output is potentially going to be even greater with larger enemies. I mean, that's slower than the White Rider. I think that's probably faster than the Oil and Spice. And if nothing else, it sounds great and feels very fun. That is very stable considering how erratic the fire pattern is. And that's the full auto. What's the other mode we got here? Burst. So yeah, that could be very handy, but for dealing with the ants, just to have that bit more of control. Just give that a little bit of a go.
Good riddance to that.
I didn't catch how many more barrels we had left. Oh, we got a chest there. Need that. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I think we should be able to clear 200 souls in this activity. The last one tends to have the most. Yeah, let's just leave that for water. Nice. That's good. I still like that. Could be interesting with SMG builds. I'd be interested to see what this one does when you've got a few other things buffing it. That just feels very, very satisfying to fire.
Now that we've rattled a few old bones,
I don't think that counts
I feel a
for
song in my heart.
the barrels. I did not take it in. I did not take it in whether I'd cleaned up all of them. So I am just quickly gonna have a quick look around. I don't think there's any way I can check that. I don't know. Don't think so. It's a shame that doesn't just stay up permanently as a little a little tracking number. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. I don't pick up any souls that I've left around. Tell me if you see any barrels. Oh, there's a barrel. There we go. Nice. And we are off. Is that a purple weapon or is that another soul? Purple weapon. We'll take that just to take that. Nothing else to do here. All looks good. Wonderful. I mean, why not? Excuse me. Excuse-moi.
In order to see the truths of this realm,
Right, looking for the loot.
And we can't do that without
Vesper's loot's hidden in one of these eggs. It's probably quite good as well because it's scatty. It's probably quite good for the wyverns. Don't have to be accurate. Another legendary. Joint training. Not sure what that one is either. Definitely more of the gear. I remember less what a lot of those things do versus the guns. At least with the guns, you know, you kind of
These are all bad eggs. Don't feel bad.
feel like those just stand out to me more. Like, oh yeah, that gun fires a crazy pattern, or that gun's a really good corrosive one, or something like that. So yeah, just what I was saying earlier about the jars. It was a jar, just kind of like this kind of jar that I smashed in Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. Like, very high-end game, just sort of, you know, mucking around. I've spent a long time in that game, a long time. And just to get a pearlescent out of just a jar like that was just crazy. Very, very, very low odds. But every loot source has a chance of dropping anything. It's just those, you know, it's just whether the percentages are in your favour. Barrels. I'm enjoying this gun. I definitely need to try and remember. I need to look up and remind myself where it came from. I think you would have fun with this one.
I guess in this realm, wyverns lay instruments. wyverns. More like why not die already burns, right?
Girl, you're crazy. There we go.
Instruments in the eggs? How? Wow.
Blow myself up.
Wow. My heart's singing a new tune now.
So that's us done in this area because we've got the loot, but we're just trying to get our elemental barrels done and just look around for any more souls to pick up. Any other goodies? Let's jump up the top. I think I only opened one chest in here as well, so there's another chest to look out for.
How did they get the instrument in the egg? Which is laid first, the egg or the wyvern?
3 more barrels. Tear this place apart!
I really want an omelet now.
Girl has style. Two more, huh? See if we can get a look around. No, full. The mantle can be a bit too much sometimes. Mantling when you don't want it to. I've probably stared right at this, haven't I, and just blasted straight past.
Those wyverns sure know how to lay a beat down.
Oh, there's our other chest, so that's good. Exploding barrel there. Those. Just one left. Running out of places to look. I feel like maybe a few of these other smaller roofs, maybe there could be one tucked away or maybe near where we started. Oh, another salt. Take that. Nothing tucked down here. No. Where, oh where could it be? I feel like I've gone over pretty much everywhere at this point. I've got to have run past it. Got to have. Taking a bit too long looking now as well. Wasting too much time. Okay, we'll just wind back through the kind of middle of the map. It's probably somewhere really obvious. If you saw it, please do tell me where I missed it. I will be more happy knowing that one of us saw it, one of us found it, rather than me just have completely failed on this. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh. I must have run that past that about 3 times. Must have done. But we got it. Sorry about the delay. How many more arenas have we got?
Secret treasury. You'll need to collect levers from the warriors around here. I'd aim for the strongest first.
Not too much more. I am a juicy target. Oops, sorry, fungi. I'm a terrible master. Friend. Master doesn't sound right. Owner? I mean, doesn't seem like it's. I suppose they're pets. Better help them up. Feel bad. Let's go, buddy. We've used that for a fair amount. Definitely feel like I had something else. Oh, we changed to the Spriggan, didn't we? Yeah, the white left. I'm going to do the live wire again, although I think a lot of people have seen that. Exaggerating shadow fire of the virtuoso. No, I don't think we've used that one yet. Spriggan, oil and spice. Let's put the live wire on the other. Even though this is a chaotic one, so it is a bit higher level, a bit higher stats, so it will perform better than a normal one on here. Right, so this is the shadow fire of the virtuoso, or whatever it's called. Yeah, shadow fire of the virtuoso. So some nice dark magic balls that we're firing out there. Pretty satisfying sound to that. Ooh, okay, so when we do a readout on that, we get a nice column of damage. That's pretty cool. That's pretty handy. Probably quite good for larger enemies. And just looks pretty cool, to be honest. That just feels fun. That feels very Battleborn. Definitely attacks like that for quite a few Battleborn things. Pick up some more ammo there. That's just a single fire mode on this, so that is all this one does. But that seems pretty reasonable. Time to kill with just the normal fire is less than we've had on a few of those other guns there, but we can get a bigger boy, find a guy with a bigger health bar, and we'll see what that column of damage looks like. See what that's doing. Yeah, let's all go up the top, guys. Washroom. I mean, that column of damage is obviously pretty decent. A standard red bar still, but a bigger enemy. One is a yellow bar enemy, really. I've got a lever there that I've not applied yet. There you go. That's the first wave of people. Done. Let's get that one in. Got to do that 3 more times. 2 more times, sorry.
You're doing great. No notes.
4 more barrels. 3 more barrels. 2 more barrels. Pretty cool area. I don't think there's anywhere else in the game that has this look. I think we are meant to be in part of the Pyramidion. Pyramidion. That's Destiny. Not Pyramidion. The Pyramid. Pretty cool sort of under area. I feel like this could have been a cool location for a little bit more questing, but I don't think we have anywhere that looks quite like this in the main kind of story campaign. another barrel there. I didn't even notice. One more barrel to go. Shouldn't be out here because we were out here first. Let's get like the shelfy bits on the map, I think, maybe. What I do need to check with this is this going to take me down? No. Cast it on my soul. That's quite handy. But then I think I damaged myself there. Let's try that again in a more pure circumstance. Up here, just us. No, absolutely fine. There we go. That's the barrel's done. Those two things in combination is quite good if you can just get in a good rotation of chucking those out and switching back to the main fire. That would make this very comparable to some of the other SMGs that we've had in the mix. However, that is more complicated. If you don't have to do that, then there's an argument that why would you? But then this is a dark magic weapon, so we are getting health back for the dark for the damage, basically.
You got a lever.
So
Excellent.
I don't know. Worth keeping in mind, but definitely not a bad weapon. Definitely still very usable. I'm picking up blues. So this is the Spriggan. So this one, finally found a yellow bulb. Oh well. This one's a purple. It's tearing through pretty good. Obviously frost damage on this one. You got the shield when you ADS, and you can get the different versions of this. I guess because I feel like I had a Spriggan before, where I ADS'd and damaged onto the shield, then give me amp damage on my shots, which I would say that's the version of this you want to go for. That seems like a very good perk to have. However, when we looked at this one just now, this one actually... no, that's right. There you go, that is the one. This is a chaotic as well, so this one is more powerful than your standard version of the weapon. So it's worth keeping that in mind. It's a little bit extra special. The damage to the front shield I did find is situational, because not all enemies are going to use the kind of projectiles or the type of attacks that mean you're going to take the damage as you want to on that front shield. But definitely, even without worrying too much about the amp, you can see that this thing is tearing through people very well. And although it is the chaotic version, I think it still would be doing very good. So definitely worth keeping in mind. Okay, last lever. And I think we've got one more area that leads to the boss. So let's plug that in. Clean up these last few.
Anyone placing those levers better than you did. Mostly because that would be so boring.
Girl, you crazy. We like crazy. And the live wires, the last one here we'll be checking out in this session, the only other one I've got on me today. But there are a ton more SMGs in the game, and some very cool ones, for sure. Another one I have, which I'm not sure why I don't have on me, but you have one where you can throw it out and the reload turns it into pixies. I don't know how many different versions there are of those, but it basically becomes a... It's like a... You know, it's as if the gun's following the enemy, but they sort of fly after them, doing little sort of zappy laser things. And I've found that they are quite good. Mainly for the fact that it's just a throw it out and forget, so you can chuck a couple of those out, switch back to whatever weapon you want, and they're going to help you for a few seconds. It's good to sort of stack your damage like that, have a few different things that are going on. This is the live wire, and I've forgotten precisely how this one works. There's two main components to it, I believe. One is the electricity that comes out permanently, which will arc to other enemies that are nearby, so it's good for mobbing, because it's going to arc from one to another and give you, you know, a damage bonus. But the other, as you saw there, the other component to this, I believe, is that this scales off of your melee damage. But I'm not entirely sure how that works off the top of my head, so I don't want to sell that too much. But I believe that if you are using this in concert with doing some meleeing, that will help to give the weapon a bit of a boost. Oh, sorry, buddy, that's too slow. Keep an eye out for our barrels. This is the last area. This is going to lead to a sub-boss and then final boss. Sub-boss is one that we've seen before in the story, if you haven't done this activity. It's the one in Mount Craw, where you've got the kind of robotic, the kind of Dwemer dragon head, for lack of a better description. The Raging Wyborg. A wyvern cyborg. I'm trying to pick up stuff when I don't have slots because I've been picking up garbage. Let's ditch some of this stuff. Blues. Who carries blues? Seriously. I mean, unless it's got a nice red flavour text with it. Red flavour. I don't know why I'm picking up that purple there anyway. We're going to get better loot than that. We don't need this trash. Let's get some goodies. Let's get some real solid gear. Keep an eye out for our chests. There's one. So you get familiar with this. The chest locations, I'd say when you're running through these areas, they're going to have 10 or less locations those are going to spawn, so you do get familiar with where they're likely to be. It doesn't, after you've done a few runs on this, it shouldn't be too hard for you to find those. The barrels is a bit more all over the place, because you can just, excuse me, have them hidden away a little bit more. You can have just a finicky one that just eludes you, but they're similar. They do tend to be fairly obvious and in the same sort of locations. But yeah, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what Livewire are doing. I'll kill a couple more people with that. I think I'm going to switch back to the Rip and Tear one again. I was just enjoying using that. Just good meaty sound as you chew through everyone.
That big fake wyvern stole my powers.
Don't need to bother with that, really.
Which is also where you should
That doesn't. The health barrels don't seem to count with the elemental barrel count. So. Next boss is yellow bar by default. Let's stick the rider back on, because that was corrosive, obviously. So I have a chaotic version of that as well, but I was trying to do as much of this with just standard guns rather than chaotic, if I could. So it's the Heck Wader of the Hurricane. We'll switch back in a minute, but we'll try and do the Wyborg with the rider on our single beam and see how quick we can blast through them. Howdy, neighbour. That's very good. Ta-da! Give it one more try, buddy. What's that? Oopsie. Pretty sure we can just get a kill res off of that anyway. Gotta be still missing some chests.
I can't even tell you how glorious it is to have my light back. My soul fire.
Double
Now,
legendaries.
let's put it to work,
The
shall
mind
we?
rune, it's a pretty low score. A transistor, a little bit better score, but still not fantastic. But some more loot all the same. We can have a look at those. I'll compare that to stuff in my vault, what I've got already, and maybe there's something there I do want. Maybe there's some specific perk on a specific version of those that will be useful to me. So it's always worth looking and comparing with the stuff you have and seeing what you keep. However, vault space is definitely an issue, so as it is with many games. Alright, I think I've probably missed a couple of bits going through this, but we're not gonna worry about it. I feel like I should have had some of this done by now. Okay, now it should be boss time. Real boss. And
No
my
matter what Redmourne slings at you,
understanding
fire,
is
whatever, you can overcome it.
that as we repeat this activity and come back to Redmourne, there's different ways the bosses will upgrade as you go through the higher tiers in the DLC content. But with Redmourne, he's a big wyvern, but he will get a new elemental head every time. So this time he's got 2 heads, next time I have 3, and then the last time I have 4. Let's not stand out in the open. That definitely doesn't seem like the best strategy. Off to a good start. I'm going to try and do this. See how the heck whaler does with damage on Redmourne, but immune. Why are you immune? Interesting. It's not doing good damage for boss, as much as I've been enjoying that on the ads. Let's go back to our White Rider. I mean, that was just a general wyvern, but
You have been judged
that's
and
literally
found
just
wanting.
melting most of them. Yellow health. And this first bar of Redmourne. Getting a bit more going on. That's good. Felt like this was a bit lackluster before. Oh, good. That's just chewing through. That's very good. Let's go back to the Virtuoso. Whoa. My goodness, what?
To my side.
I have a long burn effect? I seem to take a big old chunk off and then burn down for a while. Those shots weren't great either, so I thought some of them fell short.
A villain in our midst.
That's doing good damage on his standard health bar.
No one's gonna mourn you now.
Good to know. Okay, so maybe we need to give the Virtuoso a bit more testing, a bit more higher level, and see what that's doing. No barrels to do in this one, so I can ignore that. We got our exit, and we got another legendary, so we've done pretty good with our loot before we've even got back to the loot area. And we, a bit short of 250, but we got over 200, so that's going to give us a nice number of spins, nice 8 spins. Well, no, we're going to get an extra one out of that, aren't we? So we get 9 spins. Cool. Well, that was pretty straightforward again.
Shall be dispatched forthwith.
I've done a little bit more testing on the SMGs. Let's see what loot we can get
Can be sure it wasn't
out of the Wheel of Fate.
You're welcome.
Maybe we'll get something new. That'd be nice. think most of the stuff I've seen so far, most of that I've seen before, except there was one thing where we picked up, and I was a little unsure about the name of a, was it a ring or a necklace? No, none of those. What was it? Bad egg, transistor, mind rune. Oh, no, it wasn't the Bronco Buster. I've seen that before. Fire master rune, salt battery. These are just my other items now. Oh no, maybe I've got confused. I had a continuation of our story playthrough a little bit earlier, so I think I'm just thinking of that. A couple of spells. Bolt, Lash, and Dynamo. Dynamo stands out in my mind as something I think was maybe fairly reasonable. I can't remember why. We'll need to have a look at spells in due course as well. Right, let's clear out these bits that I don't need. Bit of space. Dynamo. Now the Bolt Lash we saw before, which I need to try that someone else so we can actually see what it's properly doing, because it just comes out like a few sparkles, which I feel like there's got to be some more of an effect that's happening with that, but that's all we get for the moment. And then the Dynamo. Oh, Dynamite. Dynamite! Check some of these other items as well. So any of these, with the different lines, you can see that you get the extra sparkle on these ones. So it's not just the thin line on its own, so that just means they have an enchantment on them already. That's all that means, for anyone who doesn't know. Most people that are watching this, I presume, are already pretty clued up. Probably more clued up than I am on the game, but... Warriors, plate mail. Plate mail. Toxifying Vengeance of Stamina. Feud and quarrel. Oh, okay, we have come across this before. I don't think I've really experimented with it though. So I think this might actually be... This might be a DLC gun, because I don't think I've seen this very much. It's going to be very interesting if you've got anything that's going to maximize the damage output based on like a number of things you've stuck. That can definitely be a thing. So, okay, that's something to have a look at again soon. We are getting a lot of legendaries today. This is good. Wicked Gossip. Don't think I know that one either. Okay, so 3 projectiles that come out and will ricochet, so that's going to be good for sort of more closed-in circumstances. Pretty good. Doesn't seem to be leaving any puddles or anything. I'd have thought maybe that would have left a puddle. And it seems like you get a few shots of that as well. That's recharging pretty quick. Pretty handy as just something else you can be firing some pretty quick extra damage out on. Another bit of armor. Dropped hammer. I'm really out of the loop on the armor at the moment. I'm sort of having to spend a bit more time on that, trying to see what is worthwhile. But at the moment, one called the Tides. I think I've been finding quite handy, where you can get a random chance to get a debuff to your enemies, and also one called the Amalgam, which is boosting my stats. Both of those seem quite interesting at the moment, but definitely don't feel like I have a handle on the armor. ring. Pulse oximeter of the natural 20. Hello, nurse. My health is less than 50. Oh. 50. Effects are increased by 50. My health is quite often below 50, so that might be quite good for me. So what that means is that the effects increase, I think, is just the effect of those statistics. So I'm a little unclear on that, but I think that means your 10% dark magic efficiency will become 15%, etc. Okay, well, we've got some more loot there to go. Anyway, sell all this stuff after we finish the session, just to save you from being put through that. Heirloom of the artisan. Infuriating bloodshot of the technician. Right. I don't know too much about these. Purples that might come out of here. That's pretty cool. Pretty standard, but that's some multiple projectiles coming out on that one, and then we get a little sandworm. What's the one we just picked up? I should have just equipped straight away, but right, so that's like a mini version of the Virtuoso anyway. And then on the reload. Right, lightning bolt on the reload. Okay. It's good to know. Anything else gun-wise? Number 2. Magnus of the Spire. I don't think. Reflecting one. I need to check. All these guns where you got a reflection, they always make me think of the Fibber, and I need to check that out. Normal grenade launcher. The Fibber is a gun from Borderlands 2 that at one point was hands down the best gun in the game, and it was an interesting gun. It was a pistol, and the kind of thing with it was that you shot the floor, you bounced, or I think you can maybe do it off the wall, but mainly you were shooting the floor. You would bounce the shots off the floor, and it would amp the damage, so you could get crazy numbers. And with certain, I think redundant Fibber was probably the best one. And that one, if you ricocheted, I think you had 2 projectiles that came off and it hit the floor, and the projectiles would split, and then you got all of that extra, all those extra shots hitting, and you could tear through invincible bosses and stuff. It was very broken, but for that short window of time, you felt like, you were the badass. That was an incredible gun. So yeah, anything that has any kind of reflecting in these games, I'm just like, ooh, maybe there's a redundant thing going to make a little appearance somewhere. But anyway, I'll find that out as we continue to play around with guns and looking to carry on with everything we can do to explore and engage with Wonderlands. But thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed that. That's tier 2 of the DLC stuff done now, so we'll be jumping into tier 3 pretty soon, back to coiled captors. If you did enjoy this content, please do stick around, check out more of my videos. Please do support me in all the standard YouTube ways, and I will catch you next time, Vault Hunters. Take it easy, all the best, peace out.